Russia's Aeroflot, currently battling sanctions, has purchased 10 Boeing 777s from Aviation, an Irish lessor that has 10 stranded 777s. The deal was closed just at the end of 2022, but has suddenly made headlines at the beginning of this calendar year. Aeroflot is attempting to rebuild not only its network, but also its larger business, following conflict in Ukraine emerging, and sanctions being imposed on the carrier, barring it from operating normally, and flying on most of its services that it flew pre-2022. This, though, is not Aeroflot's first attempt at acquiring additional aircraft. Within the year just gone, attempts to secure further A330s being successful, with 8 additional A330s being purchased from foreign lessors. Aeroflot will continue to work on further implementation of transactions to purchase aircraft, to maintain the current fleet of foreign-made airplanes in its operations, and expand the possibilities of its operations. This approach also confirms the reliability of Aeroflot as a counterparty that responsibly fulfills its contractual obligations. The statement was released via TASS, a Russian news agency. These Boeing 777s will eventually join the fleet, which does already consist of 777-300ERs. Many questions have arisen over priorities at the Russian airline, and how they've come about acquiring such a plane, given the circumstances currently ongoing. And on top of that, given the fact that the airline was already considering cannibalizing existing planes for spare parts and more to preserve their newer aircraft. Well, the Boeing 777s in question that Aeroflot will be acquiring had been on long-term leases since reported in 2013 and 2014 from the Irish lessor. Now the planes will not be returned. How did this all take place? Well, the deal is in a rather grey area. Given the sanctions, not much has been publicly announced regarding the agreement. However, we do know that the carrier plans to continue with a similar model to source additional aircraft. And as mentioned, as I'm sure you know already, they did already secure additional Airbus A330s in this exact same manner only last year, so it's their second successful attempt at doing so. 2023 will be a relatively important year for Aeroflot, as they look to try and regain a footprint in the industry, and hope to navigate or see sanctions ease, resulting in airspace reopening and their network expanding. Of course, though, you would probably argue that a lot of this will only be made possible based on what happens in Ukraine. So, as we await to see developments in that space for this calendar year, we'll also be closely watching the developments over at Aeroflot, whether they continue to try and purchase more aircraft, or potentially they are able to fly more broadly to other countries globally. What are your thoughts on the airline managing to purchase 10 Boeing 777s in a rather grey area for the industry, given the sanctions that have to be navigated? You can let me know down below in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. I hope the new year has been treating you well thus far, and I will see you next time.